welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. So today's video, this week's video, is going to be my top foundations. Don't mind this pinky, because there's no nail on it. Nonetheless, I'm going to be showing you my top foundations that I have used for months, maybe even years, that I have tried and loved 100% and that my viewers could really benefit from, so just keep that in mind. Also, this is not sponsored by any of these brands. This is truly how I feel. I'm giving my honest opinion. I mean, none of these foundations are perfect. I'm never gonna not say one thing that, you know, could have been better about this foundation, but I mean, you're never gonna find the perfect foundation. That's why I feel like, myself personally, that's why I love to buy different foundations and try out different textures, different consistencies, because I'm always trying to find the next best thing, right? And plus, I just love foundation. Like, I could honestly just have drawers and drawers and drawers of it, because I feel like all foundations, you want them to all, you know, make your face look flawless, but at the same time, you can do it in so many different ways, and I love that. So let's just get started before this video ends up being like 20 minutes long. I do have mostly high-end because I'm just a brat and I love my high-end foundations. I always have, not necessarily just because of the name. I mean, I'm sure that helps, but most of the time those higher-end foundations have way better ingredients. But basically, yeah, I've learned, like, just through working in cosmetics, the difference about drugstore foundations and high-end foundations. Sometimes there probably isn't much of a difference, but I know some brands that are known to have good ingredients, and it's really good to do your research before you try a foundation, especially if you're spending, you know, quite a bit of money on it. You want it to work for you and you don't want it to break you out, and obviously you just want it to work, right? I'm going to start off with my most recent love. This is the DIOR Nude Air Serum, and this is, I think, the newest foundation they've come out with, and I am so in love with this foundation. It is so lightweight. It is, I would say, like a sheer to medium coverage, but honestly, I do have lots of hyperpigmentation on my face. Like, you guys know this from seeing me without makeup. I have, you know, quite a bit of like little dots here, and it looks like they're pimples, or it looks like I have, but it's all just the look of it. I never had acne in my day, but I've always just had little, basically just dots and like scars and stuff on my face. So that's why I love foundation, because it evens that out for me. I'm not one to have to cover a lot, but I still do love like a flawless coverage. I'm more of a medium to full coverage kind of girl. That's always how I've been. But I've really enjoyed this foundation because it literally feels like my skin, but it just looks 10 times better. I use usually just my beauty blender, because I find that with lighter consistencies like this, it's probably best just to go with a beauty blender, because it's just going to really just like really blend it into your skin so nicely, to the point where it just looks like your skin but better, and that's exactly what this foundation is meant for. When I got it at the DIOR counter, they did recommend it. This was like the only foundation from DIOR that they actually recommend you just putting on with your fingers, which is pretty crazy, because like, I'm not one to ever put foundation on with my fingers. Like, I just find it like icky. I prefer a brush or a beauty blender, something that's always, you know, really clean. And plus, I mean, I think everyone hates this, is when there's foundation all over your fingers, and I've definitely gotten foundation on things that I never wanted. I like on my clothes, and you just get it everywhere. Foundation just gets everywhere. You think that you've washed it off, but like, it's still there. So anyway, my shade is in number 020. And this is definitely a light consistency, and it's not going to be full coverage. So maybe for those of you who do have acne, or do have, you know, lots of skin problems that you want to cover up with a full coverage foundation, this probably is not going to be for you. At the same time, if you do have acne, you're okay with some of it showing through, then you'll be good. This is definitely one of the more higher end foundations that I own. Not the most expensive, but definitely up there. I will move on to the next one. I just love this one so much that I have to talk about it all the time. And also, the first time that I saw anyone using it was Jaclyn Hill, and Jaclyn Hill raves about it, and I've seen her use it in a couple of her videos already, like quite consistently, being like, I'm just loving this foundation, I'm gonna keep using it. So she definitely, you know, got me interested in it. She's just such a well-rounded person, and I think she will never be bought. Like, she says that all the time, like, I would rather, you know, hate on a product and not get paid the whatever they wanted me to, just say that I like it, because then, I mean, you're building your career on lies, and people are gonna find out eventually. They always do. It's the internet. Like, there's no privacy, literally. So anyway, I'm totally getting off topic here, and this video is gonna be super long. I'm probably gonna have to cut out a lot of stuff about me talking about this foundation, which really sucks. I should just do a whole product review on it, honestly. Alright, so let's change it up a little bit. The next foundation that I'm going to talk about is the Maybelline Fit Me foundation, and this is the matte and poreless. So this is for normal to oily skin, and I have been loving this foundation. I actually have 3 of them. I know, you're gonna be like, really, Brooke, really? But they're all different shades because they were so cheap at Walmart. So like, of course, these are gonna go like right away. So I mean, plus like, there's really no testers. So it was kind of hard for me to try and think of what shade I would be just by, you know, kind of looking at it, because I'm not one to just open foundations even if I can, because I know I would hate that, to know that my foundation had been compromised before I even bought it. Like, we've all done it, we've all been there. I used to do it when I was like younger or whatever. I don't care. Like, this is the regular one. This is the regular Maybelline Fit Me. And it's weird because I did try this a long time ago because my mom actually had it as her foundation. And I was just like, hey mom, like I found this in your makeup kit, because I was snooping in it. Looking for my eyebrow pencil that you always seem to have. And I remember my first impression wasn't great. I remember it feeling like very thick and like cakey and just mediocre. But then at Walmart they were having them like for $7, and I was like, like you just can't go wrong with that. And I was, you know, wanting a new foundation. I always want a new foundation. I mean, I might not be able to afford it, but I do. I wanted to try something different and maybe, you know, kind of expand on my drugstore foundations, just so you guys can buy the things that I have without having to like shovel out your entire checkings account. It's like, girl, I get it. Yeah, I want to say I got these 2 at first. I actually thought that this one was the matte and poreless. I must have been just in a hurry and not even thinking, and was just like, oh my god, this is only $7. That's all I was thinking of. I never really ever use this foundation because even for contouring, it is like extremely dark. And I would have to be like black even just to use this to contour. Like I said, these are only $7. This is a great buy for people who love the medium to full coverage foundations. Like, I love the Maybelline Fit Me line. Like I said, they are medium to full coverage, very cost affordable, very long wearing. I know when I'm wearing this foundation, unfortunately, like it is quite full coverage, so you're gonna feel it on your face, but to me, I don't mind it, honestly. For the most part, love these foundations, very cost affordable, and yeah, great foundations. So my next one I have had for a very long time is the MAC Studio Fluid SPF 15 foundation, and this has been, I think, a staple foundation in the makeup world for years and years and years. Like, I've known about this foundation since I was very young, and I was like so pumped to finally own it because, you know, I was seeing my favorite beauty vloggers using it like 24/7, and I was like, oh my god, like I have to try this. Like, one of the most full coverage foundations in the industry. Like, that's what you hear about this foundation, and it's beautiful. Like, it makes your skin look amazing. You're probably gonna ask, you've had these for years, have they gone bad? Like, I'm actually not sure how that works. I wanna say that foundations don't tend to go bad after like even a year. Like, I think you can still use foundations after a couple years. I mean, most people maybe wouldn't because they think that's gross or unsanitary or whatever, but I mean, I really don't care. Like, I collect these foundations. I don't just have them for a couple months and, oh well, like throw it in the garbage. Like, no, like these foundations were not cheap. I love collecting them and I love sharing them with you guys. Like, it's what I do, right? But yeah, this is a beautiful foundation. Well, there's a couple things that aren't my favorite about it, is that it doesn't come with a pump. Like, really, MAC? I know they have a couple foundations that have the pump, and honestly, like, I don't get why this one doesn't. I think it's kind of absurd that you have to buy a pump for it if you want it to have a pump. Like, I understand with the Maybelline Fit Me's because they are $7. If you wanted to have a pump on these, they would go up in price, definitely. Like, I know that for a fact. But this is already like a $30-some foundation, and for you not to have a pump on it, I just think is ridiculous. Like, I think everyone should at least have some kind of pump, like even the Dior Skin. Like, I love this concept, like where it's like a dropper. You feel like you're like a scientist, and you're like, oh, like, that's so cute. And I mean, that's probably another reason why it is like $50-some, because the packaging is beautiful. It has this like amazing matte feel, like packaging. Like, I think they try to cater more to like makeup artists more than just like normal people who like are probably going to put way too much, whereas like makeup artists, they're probably doing like 3 people at a time putting on this makeup. Oh my gosh, I'm like totally ranting. But anyway, for the most part, this has been with me through a lot. I'm pretty sure I wore this on my graduation or my formal, something like that. But I mean, I've definitely worn this for special occasions because I can rely on it. I know it's gonna be on me all night, even when I come home and my makeup's everywhere and my eyes are crazy. My foundation's still gonna look flawless. If you love full coverage, because that's all you're gonna get with this foundation is full coverage and longevity. Like, this is gonna be on you all night. This next one that I have, I bought in Italy. I think there's been a lot of mixed reviews about it, but I truly am one of those people who were like, died and went to heaven when I tried this foundation. So this is none other than the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, which has made a big debut on YouTube. I know so many people, so many of my favorite beauty vloggers use this. I know Desi Perkins absolutely adores it. Like, the first ever video I saw of her was her foundation routine, and she used this, and I was like, I'm getting that. I was like, done, sold, I'm getting it. That's it. So when I went to Italy, Giorgio Armani obviously originated in Italy. They're gonna have Giorgio Armani. I just was like, yes, this is mine, and I'm so glad that I did. I'm not sure where I am in terms of how much product is left. I know that sometimes it'll be like squeak, squeak, and like barely anything coming out, and I'm like, oh my god, am I running out? Like, anxiety, like, should I go get another one? Maybe I should, maybe even though it's only half full, like. My shade that I got this in was 6, just 6.0. But yes, this is definitely on the higher end of the scale. You're gonna be paying good money for it. I think in the States it's even like $60, but it is a beautiful foundation. And the one thing maybe that I would say about it is the fact that it does, for some reason, cling on to dry patches. And usually my dry patches are sometimes on my cheeks, sometimes they'll get a little dry, like especially in this area, and I'll notice throughout the day that there's like kind of moved around in this area. That's the only thing that I find about it. So I do actually like to mix it with other foundations. I do have a lot of foundations like this that are that watery consistency. But unlike the Dior Air Nude Serum Foundation, this actually covers quite a lot. Like, I would say this is like a medium to full coverage. It's a beautiful, luxurious foundation. I love the smell of it, surprisingly. Like, I don't know, I just think it reminds me of Italy too. So any skincare or like makeup that I use in Italy that has a very distinct scent, like every time I put that on my face, I'm just like, ugh, Italy, like, yes, yes, Italy, yes. Like, it just brings me back. Like, it's just crazy. But I definitely loved it for being in Italy because it did just make me have the most beautiful skin. Like, it was full coverage, but yet I could wear it in 40 degrees and not feel like it was sliding off my face or that it was cakey or anything. So this is great for people who live in very warm climates because you're gonna get that coverage, but you're not gonna feel like you need to take it off because it's melting off your face, which is like, I think, perfect symmetry. All right, so this next one I have a love and hate relationship with. Mostly love, but mostly just me hating myself for buying it. This is by far my most expensive foundation I've bought up to this point, which hopefully I will not spend this much money on foundation again. I was in Sephora. One of the beautiful people that work there, like nicest person ever, put it on me and I just could not resist because of how amazing it made my face feel. And it's funny because I fell for my own selling techniques. Like, that's what I did every single day, and I'm like, they were doing the exact same thing to me. Bravo, because seriously, if you can fool the salesperson, then you know you're pretty good. But nonetheless, this is the YSL Fusion Ink Foundation, which has a crazy like French name that only like a number of people can actually pronounce, but I'm just gonna do it because I can. This is the Le Teint Encre de Peau, so basically the French version of Fusion Ink Foundation. This is also one of my more light wearing foundations that is a lot like the Dior Skin. A lot thicker in consistency, but very lightweight. Same kind of thing with the Dior Nude Air. It really does set itself. The only downfall of this foundation is that if you do, again, have dry patches, and especially around your nose, most women are dry around this area just due to hormones. It really, you can see at the end of the day, that's the one area where it kind of starts to separate, and especially on the nose as well. Like if you have large pores, which I do, and trust me, every day I'm like working at them to get smaller. But anyway, it does tend to do that. That's the only thing I can say about this foundation. But I mean, so far I've still loved it. What just kills me about this foundation is of course the price. But the fact that this is the only one that I own that does not have a full 1 ounce of product. It has 0.84 ounces. That's not even a full 30 mils, and you're paying that amount. That was the killer. I got home, I used it for a couple weeks by then. But this shade is in BD 20. Oh, they're like, the two like came off. I do love this foundation. I know probably a lot of you guys are gonna be like, probably never gonna get that because that's an absurd price, and I agree, but I couldn't not do it once I saw how amazing it looked. And I never tried a foundation like this where it just set on my face. Like I think that's what really drew me to it. I was like, oh my god. And I mean, it is an amazing foundation, like it really is. If you read on it online, you'll see that it has like NASA technology and like all this stuff. It like makes you believe, you're like, oh my god, like I need this. Like it is very, very high-end, very expensive, very luxurious, long wearing and lightweight, sets itself, beautiful foundation. That's why I love it. I'm gonna go with my L'Oreal. This is the L'Oreal True Match, which if you guys don't know what this is, have you been living under a rock? No, but it's actually really popular. Lauren Curtis has probably made this the most sought out drugstore foundation ever. Like she will go back to this foundation time after time after time, and she's definitely like even dissed like the Giorgio Armani one. I know she has because I watched her videos on her favorite foundations because she always has flawless skin. But she even said that she loved her L'Oreal True Match more than she loved her Giorgio Armani. So there you go, guys. And like, I feel like Lauren is also very, very honest. like almost brutally honest to the point where it's like,
this foundation does not suit me as well as this one does, so I'm just gonna use this one.
Good for her, because you should never have to compromise the way that your makeup looks just because it's a certain brand or, everyone has this. But this is actually a great foundation. I'm not gonna lie, like I'm gonna side on Lauren with this. Like it is a very, very good foundation. Very awesome consistency. Again, like kind of like the watery, very easy to blend consistency. So you definitely, like, I love using this with either the multitask brush from Real Techniques that she actually uses in her videos, or I love to use my Beauty Blender. Beauty Blender is probably my favorite thing to use with any of my foundations and concealers, but sometimes, I get a little lazy and I'm like, well, my brush is right there. But Beauty Blender is the best way to go, I think, for foundations and concealers because it just beautifully blends it into your skin like it's your own skin. Anyway, I believe the L'Oreal True Match is crazy because at Shoppers it usually goes for around $17 or $18, which is actually like a decent like price for a drugstore foundation. But I mean, it's crazy because I would never compare it to other drugstore foundations because it is just so superior to it. Like L'Oreal and Maybelline, in my opinion, make the best foundations. L'Oreal more so, but yeah, I've always been really happy with their foundation. But yeah, sometimes they'll have this L'Oreal True Match on for like 12 bucks a bottle, which is awesome, and I think that's, like how it should be, but whatever. Like if you absolutely need a foundation, like go for it, but if you can wait for the sale to come on and just make do with what you got, I would totally do that if you did want to try the L'Oreal True Match, because these guys always go on sale, like copious amounts. I'm like, well, it's only $5 today, might as well grab 10. Like, they're just nice to have when, you don't want to be wearing a very expensive foundation that day because maybe you're just going to the market or you're just going, to a movie or something. Like, they're always just good to have on hand. Love this foundation. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm again gonna touch on the Dior Nude Air. I am wearing it today, so if you think my skin looks awesome, my makeup looks extra good today, it's all thanks to this baby. And last but certainly not least, This was a brand that I had no idea about, no idea until I started working at Shoppers Drug Mart, but it completely changed my life. Like this is the brand that I own the most of by far, and just within the last year that I've learned to own all of these things. So this is the one and only Cover FX brand. Cover FX is amazing. It's a vegan brand. It is free of mineral oil, talc, fragrance, gluten, and parabens. Like, it's completely vegan. People with the most sensitive skin can use it, and that's kind of the whole reason. Is it was made for people who have skin conditions like vitiligo. All of these foundations are very, very full coverage. They have in the past couple months come out with some BB creams and CC creams, but personally, I just don't think they were meant to. Like, that's not what the brand was originally meant for, and I think, you know, they had the right intentions, but the formulas I just did not find good at all. Their Cover Cream foundations that Candy Johnson is so famous for using, because I mean, she is a makeup artist and she's worked on sets and done photo shoots. Like, she knows what it's like to use very high pigmented foundations, and these definitely have the highest pigment count in the products than any other makeup brand. That's where I learned about how drugstore foundations, how they have such little pigment compared to these. Like, the color that you're getting is along with all these different fillers. That's what makes them, you know, not good. Like, that's just what makes most of them just like crap, and they're not gonna last, they're not gonna do anything because they have, you know, no good ingredients. That's basically what it is. The Cover FX brand is amazing. This, I don't quote me on the percentages because it's been a while, but I want to say that this Cover Cream has like over 30% pigment in it, like, whereas drugstore foundations have between 5 and 10. Like, just baffling to me. Like, I'm just like, okay, I'm getting on this. Like, plus half of the girls that I worked with used Cover FX, so I'm like, well, it must be a good brand. So that was the Cover Cream. Like I said, it's an amazing foundation, covers everything, but I mean, again, it's very full coverage, so you're gonna know that you're wearing it. If you're okay with that, good, because you're gonna literally look flawless. You're gonna look like a celebrity. And then also, one of my favorite foundations for them is their pressed mineral foundation. So this is an amazing foundation. It's very full coverage, even for a powder. Like, I love this compared to my MAC Studio Fix powder foundation so much more, because this MAC powder foundation has so much talc in it, and the consistency and just the way that it goes on my skin, I hate it. Like, I hate the way it looks on my skin. Like, comparing these two, I love this one so much more. I also have a few of their water-based liquid foundations, which are, again, very high coverage. But yeah, these are great for people who love the liquids instead of like using a cream or powder. This is probably the one I'd recommend. This is the one that I sold the most of, because I mean, most people are used to the liquids. So my ladies and my gents, this is it. This literally probably took me like an hour to do, and my camera, I'm surprised it hadn't died like half an hour ago. Like, thank you, battery, for lasting with me. Love you. I really hope that you guys appreciated this video. I hope this helped you in some way. Like, I know I haven't really gotten a lot of requests to do videos, and I haven't been getting a whole lot of feedback, and I'm not forcing you guys to comment on my videos, but it would definitely help. Like, I'm just hoping to God that like these videos are something that you guys would want to see. Like, I always am asking, you know, my family, my friends, because they're going to be honest with me, they're going to say what they want to see, but I love for you, my subscribers, to tell me what you guys want to see, because you guys are pretty much who's going to be watching me too. If you don't care that much, if you just like watching me, then perfect. I'll do whatever you guys actually tell me. I think that would make me feel so much better. But I mean, until then, I'm just going to do what I think that you guys would want. I guess just speaking from my own experience, like the videos that I appreciated when I was learning how to do makeup, and like foundation is so important. I'm so glad that I made this video. I actually am so glad, because I want people to know how important it is, and I could never live without foundation. Like, seriously, you put me on an island, I'd probably need like a good foundation or BB cream at least, and then maybe like a brow pencil, and then mascara. I'd probably be good. And then maybe some bronzer. Ah, that'd be tough. I just hope I never get stuck in an island, because I would be screwed. But anyway, have an awesome day, you guys. I love you so much. Thank you guys for being so supportive of me. I've been loving how many subscribers I've been getting just in the past couple of weeks. Like, thank you so much for subscribing. And if I don't say it enough, I want to thank you so much. I so appreciate it. It makes me feel like $1 million when I see people, you know, saying the nicest things on my comments and subscribing. Like, it means a lot. And, you know, for you guys to genuinely, you know, love who I am on camera, and that I genuinely care about you guys, even though I might not know you. Just know that I care about you guys. This is the whole reason why I'm doing this, right? I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't love people. So again, I'm just gonna end it there. Love you guys. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye. Mwah.
And it's funny because I think, okay, I heard you the first time, but I just know so many people that they think they have oily skin or they have acne, and if they put moisture on their skin, it's just gonna make it worse, and like pimples upon pimples. Like, it's the opposite. Like, that's why you're getting pimples, is because you're scared to put on creams that are actually gonna help control your oil.